Hi everyone, and welcome to this introduction video to the Declaration of Independence. First, let's define it. The Declaration of Independence was a document written in June of 1776, adopted by a Second Continental Congress on July 2nd, reworded, ratified on July 4th, and finally signed that summer. Yes, this is why Americans celebrate July 4th as their Independence Day. Now, the Declaration severed ties with the government of Great Britain, meaning the 13 colonies were no longer under the rule of King George III of England, and they could make alliances with France in an effort to obtain assistance in protecting their statement of independence. Okay, so that's the ultra-short version. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. During the 1760s and 70s, American colonists were increasingly frustrated by the policies being made by the British King and Parliament. This included taxation without representation in Parliament, and stationing soldiers in and around villages and homes. Both of these things would have been illegal and against the law in England, so colonists were understandably angry with these acts. A couple of events of note are the Stamp Act crisis and the Boston Tea Party. First, the Stamp Act crisis. In 1765, delegates from 9 of the American colonies published a letter of protest to the Stamp Act, which was essentially a tax on all paper products in the colonies. That tax money was used to pay for the housing of soldiers in the colonies. The Stamp Act was eventually repealed, but the British Parliament re-emphasized that they were the only ones to make policies and tax laws in the colonies, and the meeting of the 9 delegates had not and would not make a difference. In 1773, the Boston Tea Party sparked controversy and brought the colony's anger to the forefront once again. As several ships containing thousands of pounds of tea arrived in the Boston harbor, Samuel Adams is said to have organized local citizens to prevent the unloading of the tea. If the tea was unloaded, the colonists of Boston would be on the hook for the tea tax, which was being levied on them while they still had no representation in the British Parliament. You see where all this is going, don't you? The upset Bostonians boarded the ships with tea and dumped the tea into the harbor, and later justified their actions as the only way to escape more taxes without representation. Obviously, this did not go over very well with Britain or the East India Trading Company, whose tea was the tea dumped. Now, Britain responded by creating strict trade laws and sending more troops to the American colonies. In 1775, the Second Continental Congress, the rebel government established by the colonists, met to discuss their options. They did not believe the British government would ever allow America to do its own thing. So, they went against the British King and Parliament, reopened all the ports, and discussed creating foreign alliances. Finally, the motion to create a Declaration of Independence, listing all of the grievances they had against Britain and explaining why they believed they had a right and duty to create their own government, was made and adopted. A draft of the Declaration was written by Thomas Jefferson and was read and debated at the Second Continental Congress, and then unanimously adopted on July 4th. The last signers of the Declaration put their names on the document in August. The results of the Declaration, well, as you know, were revolutionary. So this year, Americans, as you blow stuff up, eat grilled food, and celebrate America and independence, don't forget, July 2nd was the actual Declaration. Government took 2 extra days to make things official, and it was all to have representative taxation. I hope that helps. Happy studying, and happy July 4th.